So let's talk about advertising hydroseed. And the cool thing about it, um, I want to talk about that minimum we had, that $3,500 minimum, and what that included. So that was a full prep with hydroseed and irrigation adjustment. So this is on an area that's already irrigated, which keep in mind, and I'm telling you this right now, do not do not apply hydroseed to any area that is not irrigated, especially if you're making the claim 100% guaranteed growth, because customers they don't water, and whether or not they water, and it doesn't matter how much they know, and it doesn't matter how much you tell them they need to water, they don't water. So, or they don't water enough. And if they don't water enough or at all, your hydroseed is not going to grow because it's a plant. It needs water and sun. So the sun's easy. The getting seed on the ground is easy. But if they don't water, it's not going to work. And that means they're going to be calling you and saying, hey, your hydroseed isn't growing. When in reality, they're not watering. So we never applied, and again, this took us 6 months to figure this out, that we shouldn't spray hydroseed on any areas that weren't irrigated. And I know it's hard to say no to easy money because these people are going to want to pay you to do this, but it's not worth it. I promise. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's not worth it at all. It's not worth it for you, the headache that it's going to cause, for sure. It's not worth damaging your brand, which if you start doing jobs like that don't grow in because they don't water, it doesn't matter. No one knows that story. They just see that you did it and it didn't grow. That's all they see. And it hurts your brand. So never do a job that you know isn't going to work, because it's worth more than whatever they're paying you to do that one job. It's worth more to your brand. So only do irrigated areas, yards that are irrigated. And if it's not irrigated, sell them a system. I can't tell you how many times I was called to a person's house to quote hydroseed, and ended up walking out of there with a I sold them a full irrigation system with the hydroseed. So it was like a package deal. And if that sounds crazy to you, I want to introduce you to financing because we'll talk about that later. But the $3,500 minimum was anything 5,000 square feet or smaller with prep and hydroseed application with irrigation adjustment. Our preparation included Harley raking the area and then leveling it out with a land plane, either on the machine or raking it. You guys know how to prep. It's the same way you would prep for sod, which you should prep for sod if you're not. You want to hit the ground with a Harley rake, and then level it out, and then kick on the irrigation. Make sure you didn't hit any heads, which our guys would sometimes hit heads with the Harley rake, even though we marked them. Fix any issues. Kick it on, adjust it. Make sure you got good coverage, and then once the coverage is set, the ground is prepped and leveled. Then you go in and spray. Boom, $3,500. And that didn't include the service fee. I put a service fee of $550 on every single ticket we ever did, unless it was like $20,000 or higher. Then it would go to $1,200 service fee. You're going to ask me what that's for, and it is because we're in business. Because you've got expenses that you're not accounting for. Because you've got things that you can't put on a line item. Like it covers your fuel, it covers your consumables, it covers the welding wire in the gas for the welder to repair your trailers. Like it covers the lights. Just charge a service fee. We are in business. We are not a charity. I'd always tell people, or at least think about it this way, is that it's for their benefit that I'm in business. If I didn't do any of this work because I just wanted to do the work. I did it to make money. So, and it just so happened that landscaping was one of the most profitable, highest margin, easiest things to do. And in that niche, hydroseed is the king of that. Like, hydro seeding is so profitable and easy, and the before and afters are crazy. When you can go into a dirt lot, till it up with a Harley rake, level it, spray it, and you got that dirt lot picture, then you have that applied hydro seed picture, and then you've got that big, beautiful, thick, luscious lawn. Like, whoa, it's incredible. And people eat it up. I'm talking by the truckload. So, because it works. Like, and you feel good about it because you're selling and making money on something that somebody else is buying, saving money on versus sod, and has a great product and a great end result. Like, everybody wins. So it's great. The next thing that I want to talk about is our financing. So I know we've already talked about Jobber and the importance of Jobber and why you should get it. And again, Jobber does not pay me to say any of this, but they're just really good. They have a feature. Jobber has a feature in their software, and it took us 4 months to get the first invitation of this program. Now, at one point we had actually 2 Jobber systems because we had 2 separate companies. I started a pool company as well, using all the same techniques. It was pretty much structured the exact same way. But I had another system for that, and we didn't get the invitation on day one because it was a brand new system. But so we just called them and we requested it, and we got access to it. And that system is called WiseTac, WiseTack, WiseTac, and they are a partner with Jobber. They're a bank, pretty much, that integrates into their system, and it allows you to offer financing to your clients. Now, whether or not you know how consumer lending works doesn't matter. I'm going to just briefly explain it here. When you have that system turned on, which it's an application process, we never had any problems with it. Every business that applies pretty much gets approved. Just answer your questions correctly, okay? And so once you get the system turned on in your Jobber account, when you send out a quote, and the quote must be for, like, I think it was more than $600, but less than $25,000, because $25,000 is their threshold for as much as they would finance at one point to one person. But once you have it turned on, you send a quote out, and it lists on the quote that there is financing available for this purchase. So the customer can do their deposit, which we would charge anywhere from $550 for a deposit up to $10,000 depending on the size of the job. But $550 to $850 was pretty common deposit amounts. I think at the later dates we ended up like $850 was the cheapest, and $1,500 was pretty much average, $1,500 for a deposit. But anyway, after they place their deposit, they could then finance the difference. And the way that it works, once they click that they want to finance, they do an application on their phone. It literally takes 2 minutes. They put in basic information. They get approved. Now, not everybody gets approved for the max, the $25,000. Most people, 90% of people, will be approved for $15,000 to $20,000. But we have had several get 25. You know, it does happen. Once they're approved, you get a notification that they applied and were approved for how much. And then they do what's called locking in the terms. So then WiseTac says, hey, you want to do it for 6 months, 12 months, 24, 36, 48, or 60, or 72. They pick a term and a payment, and then they lock that in. Now, you get a notification saying, hey, this person applied and locked in terms. They're ready to do the job. What that means is the money is sitting there. It's ready to go, and it's locked in. All they have to do is click on their phone, on this email, says, the job is completed and I'm satisfied. Boom. They click that button, and you get money the next day. And then they make the payments to WiseTech. There is no recourse, meaning if that person doesn't pay even on the first month, you get to keep the money you got. Like, they could finance a $20,000 yard and not pay a payment, and you're still going to keep your money that you got paid. Like, that's how it works. And it makes it so much easier to sell those bigger jobs when the person doesn't have to write the check for it. I always like to say, you bet your ass we'll finance your grass, because we literally would. We're financing hydroseed. It's crazy. Like, I did a lot of financing with power sports and stuff, but you're actually getting a product, or like something with a title, something that could be repossessed. But I mean, how would you repossess a yard? There's a movie about that where they rolled the sod back up, but not a hydroseed. So we've used it a lot, and I want to talk about that 25,000 limit. The bottom number, which is after the deposit, is 25,000 or less, and the option for financing will show up. So, for example, if the job total with tax, we use round numbers, was $30,000. If you put a deposit amount of $5,000 in, that means the balance due after deposit is $25,000. That means the financing option will show up. But if you put in $4,999 and the balance due is $25,001, the finance option would not show up. So you play with it there, adjusting your required deposit amounts. The financing is phenomenal. So if you get Jobber, just get it all set up. Maybe run with it for a week or two, and then you'll call Jobber customer support, and you'll say, hey, I would like to be set up on the WiseTech program. They'll say, okay, no problem. We're going to send you an email. Fill this out. You fill it out, send it back, wait a couple days, boom, you're approved, and then you now can offer financing to your clients. And that is the biggest moneymaker. Yeah. That right there just bought this course for you like 1,000 times. So use it all day long. You can use it in your advertising. Just know that if you mention financing, that word, in your Facebook posts, or like low monthly payments or anything like that, you have to be sure to select special ad category if you're going to boost or promote that type of language, just because whenever you mention banks or financing or credit-based things, Facebook doesn't allow you to do it unless you say it's a special ad category, which then shows it to everybody, not just a specific group of people. So, but it makes selling jobs so much easier. It increased our sales rate. It probably, 10 times over when people don't got to actually pay cash for these jobs. Not only did it bump up our sales rate, but it also bumped up our average ticket price. So you can actually charge more if you finance, because why wouldn't you? So it works well. So that's a huge factor. And you can use it on everything, and you can use it to upsell. And you always tell people when you're out there, when you're at their job, that mention it to everyone. I don't care if you're pulling up and this guy has a Ferrari in his driveway. You need to mention to that dude that you offer financing, because you never know when they're going to use it. When you pull up to someone's house and it looks like a shack, hey, doesn't matter. Let you know we offer financing. Everybody's money spends the same, so never think that a person will want or not want financing. Just mention it to everybody you talk to, and you'll be surprised on how many people use it and who uses it. So, very good there. I always like to tell them also is if they finance, that we don't get paid until the job is done. I would always say, after we're done, you have to literally click a button that says the job is completed and I'm satisfied. Like that. That lets them know that even though they're not paying cash for it, they still get to have that final review or that final look at the job before they actually release funds, which is just a peace of mind thing. And I've never had anybody not hit the button, but it makes them feel better. So just know that on your ads and tell it to everybody. So it's a big deal. We would put it on our trucks that we offer financing. We'd put it on our Facebook posts. Not all of them, because sometimes I wanted to only show my ads to like people, in their 30s to late or early 60s. I didn't want to show it to like an 18-year-old kid somewhere, because who's dropping, what 18-year-old kid spending $30,000 on their yard? You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes I would do it if I mentioned financing, and then also you can do it in reels. I've had videos that I've actually mentioned financing like halfway through, and I was able to boost those or promote those the normal way without having to mark them as a special ad category. So sometimes it catches it, sometimes it doesn't. If it's in your text, it's definitely going to catch it. In your post text or your reel description, but if it's in the video itself, it could miss it. So, yeah, it works really well. So financing is a huge deal. And that's another benefit of Jobber, because it's fully integrated. And I'll attach some screenshots so you can see what I'm talking about. But when that customer sees that button, it's like, hey, you could do this whole job. You could do this $15,000 job for, $185 a month. If you just click this button, they do it. It works really well. And like I said, you get fully paid in full the next day. YStack does charge a processing fee, which, again, the service fee, we always add it on. So it's not coming out of your pocket. It's the customer's paying it. So, yeah, it works well. So you get to do a job, you get paid, and the customer gets to finance it and have a job well done. So, again, it is a win-win-win.